G'day folks, Andrew Griffiths here, international best-selling author and speaker. Most of you know me. If you're watching this, you probably know who I am and what I do. These are the weekly videos that I'm doing these days, just on topics that I think are having meaning for me, and they're perhaps kind of discussions that I'm having either in coaching or what I'm speaking about in different kind of forums as well. So I'm kind of sharing some of the stories and some of the bigger thinking kind of philosophies and strategies around doing business, because it's a pretty strange time. It's a bit of an uncertain time. We've come off the back of COVID. Now there's this economic uncertainty. Business has got very competitive. We've got, ChatGPT and all kinds of AI stuff rising. There's this roller coaster ride that we're on. So today what I want to talk about is the concept of being anti-beige. I've been writing about this for many, many years. It's nothing new, but it's very, very relevant right at the moment. With the introduction of ChatGPT in particular, I think that we're going to see this huge amount of new content that's going to be appearing, and it's going to come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden people love, taking the easy route. And if you're going to be able to create articles on ChatGPT or other AI platforms and do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 articles in the space of an hour, which you could do pretty easily, people are going to start posting all of this content. I heard something on the radio the other day where it was a lawyer was talking about engaging someone to generate 1,000 articles for them in the space of 3 days, basically using AI so that they could just have the next 3 years of articles kind of written. Now, this is not a conversation about whether the articles are good or not and all of that kind of jazz. That's for another discussion. But overall, what I'm really noticing in the content space is a lot of beige. There's a lot of beige. It's a lot about, either people saying the same stuff, people thinking that they've split the atom, yet others have been talking about it for years. There's a bee about to land on there. The enemy of any of us, if you want to build your business, if you want to build content, build community, build your profile, build your credibility, you've got to create stuff that's not beige, and that means you've got to make it personal. You've got to share your great stories. You've got to share your observations. You've got to be aware of what other content other people are writing. I talk about this all the time when I'm coaching people to write books. People, or even with speakers, a speaker will get up, a new speaker will get up and they'll put this quote up and it'll be like, they think it's a fantastic quote, but they're not aware that every other speaker's been using that quote for the last 5 years. It makes them look naive. It makes them look out of touch. It makes them look pretty dumb, to be honest. Same with writing books. You open a book and there's a Drucker quote saying, strategy, culture eats strategy for breakfast every time. It's a quote we've seen 1,000 times. Or Simon Sinek quote, you've got to start with why. We've seen that stuff 1,000 times. So for me, beige is often just about not being aware of what is going on with your competitors in the content space, in the writing, speaking, business, whatever it might be. So we live in a world now where there's about to be this huge extra amount of content appearing. A lot of it is going to be beige. AI at the moment is fairly beige content, but it's easy to create. People take the easy path, so they're going to be flooding their social media, their blogs, their whatever platform they're on with beige content. So what that means is, if you try to compete and create more beige content, then you just get lost in amongst it. So we've really got to get our content game on. We've really got to be looking for things that are not going to be able to be replicated. And as I started saying there, it's things like your stories. It's things like, stuff that you figured out, your models, your knowledge, your anecdotes. That's so much of it is about that. AI is not going to be able to recreate those. It's also about developing your soft skills in how you present, being able to write with a sense of humor, being able to write in that I'm talking to you kind of element, which again, AI is not that good at doing that kind of stuff. So we've got to kind of up our content game a great deal and make sure that we're fighting, this beige kind of world that is coming. Now, this also relates to, I think, our corporate look and feel, our credibility tools, our promotional material, everything that we're doing. If we just make it beige, if we just kind of are doing this one-dimensional kind of content or anything that we're doing, then I think we're going to be in trouble. Beige is the enemy. And so my philosophy around that is to keep asking myself, is what I'm doing beige? Is what I'm doing beige? Is what I'm doing beige? And then of course the second question is, how do I make sure it's not? Or what do I do to turn this so it's not beige into something that has more meaning and more credibility with my audience? It's a really important point right at the moment, and I think it's something that we all need to just, have our own little kind of ways, our own little kind of checklist, whatever it might be, to say, if I'm just adding to the beige army and to the beige conversation, I'm just going to blend in. And I'm really taking a bit of time out to think a lot about that at the moment, and kind of going, okay, well, I don't want to just be doing stuff for the sake of it. I want to be creating content that has meaning and significance, and that means being a bit bolder, being a bit braver, being a bit more personality driven. Videos are great. At the moment, ChatGPT is really predominantly all about, written articles, so do something different. Being human, bringing the human element into it, bring your credibility and your uniqueness into it. Be anti-beige. Be emotionally intelligent enough to be able to review something and go, this is beige, it's not good enough, and be able to ask yourself those questions. Am I being beige? How do I stop this from being beige? That's my advice. Put an end to beige, okay? That's why I'm wearing black, okay? All right, folks, thank you. Bye-bye.